What's up, guys? RyHo here, having a coffee. Just got in from doing some running around. Had some things to do today, just popping around, a couple of stores and stuff like that. But anyway, I decided that now that I have a little bit of time, that I would watch a movie. And one I've mentioned in the last little while on my little Halloween horror segment is this one, The Prowler. You know, I didn't actually get to see The Prowler until probably about 2 years ago, or no, 1 year ago, I guess, when this got released by Blue Underground. They're still doing work on the roof of my building, and if that noise, I hope it's not ruining this video, but anyway, we'll continue. When it got released by Blue Underground, I finally got my hands on it, and it's such a good slasher movie. It was released in '81, directed by Joe Zito, with special effects by Tom Savini, who would get back together on Friday the 13th, Part 4, The Final Chapter, which is arguably one of the best in the series. I like 3 the best. Before has like one really great Jason, the great ending with Tommy and all that stuff. But anyway, yeah. So this is yeah, Prowler. I'm gonna sit down and watch this and have a coffee and chill out for a bit. I have it put it up here, waiting. So let's check it out.
British London. These victorious GIs have done their duty. They answered their country's call, left their jobs, their families, their sweethearts, and
has this great, old school army, in like the 1940s montage at the start, talking about how these soldiers came back from war and stuff like that, which sets up the story of the Prowler. So I thought that was kind of cool intro.
Starting over, replacing.
Of course, as is usual in most slasher flicks, of course, these guys are at their graduation dance and they leave to fool around. And, well, you know what's gonna happen. Same thing as usual, but, you know, they were done 1,000 times over and they were always good. Well, not always good. I shouldn't say that, but this was one of the good ones, so. I wanted to show the killer's first appearance there, but you don't really get to see a whole lot, of course, as they want to expose him as they go along. And for the most part, that scene's pretty gruesome, but there's his calling card. Leaves a rose for his dear Rosemary that left him. And we have the title screen. And now we're going to go to present day, quote unquote. Oh, you can see me. 1980. And they're getting ready for another graduation dance, just like the one in 1945, so. The guy in the background in this scene, here he is here, Otto, they sort of set him up as a he could be the killer. They talk about this old Major Chatham watching the girls, and they set up a lot of people that could be the killer. So it's sort of got some whodunit elements, which is really cool. And it's just got that great old school feel that, you know, you can't capture anymore because it's not old school anymore. But yeah, this is a sort of an element of the Prowler that I think is really great. It's also in there in another film, April Fool's Day, which I really enjoy, and My Bloody Valentine. I'd say that they sort of, I don't know, have a similar vibe. I guess I would group this movie in as well with like Black Christmas, because of like the all-school, all-girl like dorm or school element that they have in it, which is very similar to, you know, of course, the dorm in Black Christmas.
Yeah, that's what Mark said.
Yeah, they all have this similar vibe, you know, from that era. We just had an infamous shower scene, which I couldn't show any of course, but it's interesting because Joe Zito and wow, Tom Savini. Sorry, I blanked there for a second there. You know, they did this film, and then when they did Friday 4, there's another shower scene, and it sort of mirrors it because in Part 4 of Friday, it's actually a guy in the shower, which is something Joe Zito wanted to do. He wanted to change it up a little, and it's another glass shower, like just like it is in this. And I mean, it's not the same kind of thing, but it's really cool. Also, the gore effects in this, like I said, are done by Tom Savini. And this movie, you know, it's just a year after Friday, so he's still sort of learning his moves. But the tight shots that Joe Zito does on them in this really make them more poignant, kind of thing, and they really make them stand out, and they look great. And you know, if you see a lot of interviews with Tom Savini, he says a lot of times that he looked at a lot of war. He went over to Vietnam, I believe, and took pictures and things like that. And he looked at a lot of books of like victims of all kinds of different things, like in the war and that. And I think that comes out the most in this because it actually is it's like sort of a killer that's like a soldier almost or something like that. You know, going through the movie. So some of the kills I think sort of reflect that in this more than any other. So. And we have the reveal of the killer with old school slasher music, sort of mimics Jaws with its sort of like a percussion based beat out of the notes and stuff like that. Of course, it's way more notes and stuff like that, but you know, you get that vibe. It's interesting that they reveal the killer rather quickly in this movie, sort of. Most of the other ones, it's sort of like you find somebody murdered in the last half hour kind of thing, and then everything spikes up with the rising action and that. In this movie, they sort of get to it pretty quickly. You know, he makes a couple of kills and then right into it, he's out chasing girls. My one gripe with this movie, and it's not even really that big of a deal or anything like that, but this scene where they go into Major Chatham's house to see what he's up to, it's like the cop and what's her face. Sorry, I heard something at the door. It goes on forever. Like, we know the killer's in the house, and they're just sort of searching around, and it reveals that the connection that Major Chatham has with the original slang or whatever. But like the whole movie is just like, it's just this whole scene. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and it probably could have been shortened and done just as well. But I don't know, this is how the movie went. It creates some suspense. It's pretty good that way, but it just takes a long time, I find. I don't know why. It just seems it to me anyway. Get a kick out of this pool scene with the chicks swimming around the pool. When she tries to get out and the killer comes up, he just squarely boots her in the face. It's so funny. Another thing I don't quite get in this movie is the killer, of course, is like a soldier or something like I've said a couple of times now. But for some reason, like, he does carry this huge like knife that I guess sort of fits the bill, but right here, and in a lot of other scenes, let's see if it'll go to him. See? He carries a pitchfork, but it's just kind of weird. It just seems kind of odd that the guy who's like a soldier would pick up a pitchfork and go running around with it, but I don't know. Works out for some scary scenes and all that stuff. Another thing to note is in Friday Part 2, you have Ginny hiding under the bed with Jason going around with a pitchfork trying to get her, and a rat shows up and she, you know, pisses herself. And this one, our heroine is under a bed too, and he's going around with a pitchfork, and a rat shows up. She doesn't really react. She kind of keeps her cool. But it's kind of funny that they use that pretty much the exact same scene. I don't know what the deal with that is, but anyway. And our twist ending just happened, which of course I didn't show. Also in it is one of the best gore effects in the movie, which was perfected or at least implemented first in the movie Maniac. But it's really done well in this movie too, and it's really cool. And yeah, we're just about to finish off watching The Prowler. I always like this movie. Like I said, there's some little things that are sort of flaws in it, but all in all, I really like it as a slasher. It's a standalone one, which there's a couple of them that, you know, it's odd that they didn't try to keep going with some of them. This one might be a little more difficult than others, but you know, they didn't try to keep going with My Bloody Valentine, and they didn't try to keep going with The Burning, and this is sort of in that grouping, like I said before. But it's a great movie. and I highly recommend checking it out. Like I said, it's out on DVD by Blue Underground. I'm sure you can find a VHS copy somewhere. I don't know if it'd be easy to find to rent at your local Blockbuster or anything like that, but you might find it at a mom and pop or something like that if you still got them around. But yeah, definitely got to check out the Prowler.